I'll go straight to the first speaker of tonight, to this evening session. The first speaker of this evening session is his name is Mr. Faruk Nano Bello, and is a development communication specialist and a PhD candidate in mass communication at Bayero University in Kano. And he has over 10 years working experience in across health, education, and humanitarian programming, including USAID funded initiative. His topic this evening is his topic for this evening session is my global lens, global policy seen from development practice. I repeat, my global lens, global policy seen from development practice. Over to you, Mr. Faruk Nano Bello.
Good evening, everyone. Uh, for Mr. Abdulaziz, once again, we thank you most sincerely for creating this opportunity for us to interact this evening. Uh, like you stated, the title of my little speech is actually my lens, looking at it from political and development lens. Like you stated, my name is Faruk Bello. I hail from Kebbi State, Northwest Nigeria. Currently pursuing a PhD in mass communication at Bayero University, Kano, Northwest Nigeria. And of course, one of the members of the class of Masters in International Affairs and Diplomacy at Oxford University area. And of course, like you mentioned, I have about in academia and post development sector. Um, uh, I would just take to my presentation. When I look at global politics, I look at it not from speech or summit declaration. I begin with the consequences, not just the impact positively. Um, my global lens has been shaped through development work, which of course involves community, public institutions, and donor-funded programs where global political decisions translate into global outcomes. From this vantage point, one reality is unmistakable. Global politics today is increasingly defined by present withdrawal, and of course, who feels the space left behind, particularly in the case of recent withdrawal of the USID from the development space. The recent withdrawal and scaling back of USID engagement across parts of Africa is not merely an administrative adjustment, it is a political signal, and of course, this is something we cannot afford to take for granted. For decades, USID functioned not only as a development partner, but as an instrument of soft power. So, health, education, humanitarian programs have been the major target. But of course, there is subtle politics that is taking place, thereby influencing decisions and governance, in the African continent. They have considered in shaping governance norms, accountability systems, and the standards. It did not replace governments, but it stabilized fragile systems while attempting to strengthen them. From my experience working on USAID funded programs, the impact of withdrawal is already evident. We have witnessed programs being stalled, data exposition systems weakened, skilled professionals sparse, because more than ever we have seen thousands of medical doctors and nurses leaving this country to other countries in search of bigger budgets. And of course, the government system that is already overstretched is not able to absorb some of these responsibilities because there's no depth in terms of institutional predictable financing to sustain, this gap. Global politics often assumes states have equal capacity. Development practice shows the opposite, however. Institutions vary widely in strength, and sudden withdrawal does not tolerate self-reliance. It creates instability, just as we have seen, particularly in the area of health, where USID is known to be funding um, programs targeted at addressing malnutrition and, of course, maternal and child mortality. My lens, my global lens also recognizes that withdrawal does not leave a vacuum for long. Other actors certainly would move in, often with different accountability expectations, alternative governance norms, and clear political interest. This is not a moral judgment. It is a strategic reality. Africa is not simply a development landscape. It is a geopolitical arena. Decisions taken in donor capitals shape influence and policy direction. And of course, service delivery across African states in general. Development assistance, whether acknowledged or not, is diplomacy in practice. From years of working across health, education, and humanitarian systems, I have learned that sustainability is not achieved through abrupt exits. It requires sequenced transitions where institutions are strengthened before support is reduced. However, what we have seen in terms of withdrawal of USID is it was just very abrupt and thereby creating so much impact across the globe. A global lens rejects true false assumptions that Africa must remain permanently aid dependent and that sudden donor withdrawal automatically produces sovereignty. True sovereignty is built through institutional continuity, predictable financing, and deliberate knowledge transfer, not physical stocks. When I assess global politics, I ask one question: who bears the cost of global decisions? Too often, not policymakers, but frontline workers, communities, and fragile institutions. My global lens is pragmatic, not ideological. Africa must build resilient systems, but global powers must engage responsibly because it is an interconnected world. Instability is never local for long. That is how I see global politics. That is my global lens. Thank you most sincerely for this.